Hello YouTube friends, welcome to The Last Homely House. I'm Kate and today I want to talk to you about this seed packet quilt which I made with you a few weeks ago here on the channel from a kit. I don't usually work from kits, but this one had been on my Pinterest board and in my mind for a long time. So I bought the kit and I made it, and here is the quilt top, all pinned out and ready to quilt. It's a glorious, beautiful, vibrant, colourful thing, and I'm really enjoying working on it. So what I'm going to do today then is show you how I'm hand quilting. I'm hand quilting it because I really enjoy hand quilting, and I'm going to do some of that with you today. So we'll take it off the board and have a look at how I'm hand quilting it. I've thought long and hard about how to quilt this quilt, and with it being the seed packet quilt, I thought I'd try and make each of the panels, these little blocks, look like a seed packet. So to that end, I'm kind of doing a line of stitching all the way round each of the blocks. And so I've got my inch ruler here. Can you see it? It's kind of acrylic. Can you see that? I've got my inch ruler and I'm just putting it just below the line of stitching and drawing a line, and just above the line of stitching and drawing a line. So that means there's an inch line of stitching either side of the block. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Now when I'm marking a quilt for quilting, I sometimes use this clover pen, which is it's just chalk, very fine chalk inside there, and for some reason it's just stopped working very well lately, so I'm a bit less impressed with that one. Instead, I've treated myself to this bohin chalk marker, and it's got 3 colours of chalk with it and a lot of chalk. This one runs out quite quickly, so this one has got red, white and blue patriotic colours of chalk marking, and I'm drawing my line with that. The problem with this quilt is it's so colourful, I can't decide which colour to use, red, white or blue, because in some places none of those will show up. So I've got the red one in at the moment and it's working fine, and I just put that inch ruler just below the block there, and then you get a lovely line of to quilt along, which then rubs off when you're quilting it. So I'm, 7 out of 10 for the bohin chalk marker, 5 out of 10 for the clover chalk marker at the moment. I don't know, I might change my mind. I've got this one as well. Where's that one gone? I've got this one. The name's rubbed off this one. It's just called washable, erasable pen. But I've had this a while. This one is good too, and it comes off with water, this one. So there's lots of different ways of marking your work out to quilt. One way that I sometimes do it is I'll put the ruler where I want it and get my needle and just score a line like that, and I can see that quite clearly, and it comes out as I'm working it. So that's actually a really cheap and easy way to do it, free and easy way to do it. You can mark it out that way. But that's what I'm doing. I'm stitching along an inch either side, then I'll turn it round and I'll do an inch either side this way as well, which will mean that when you get to the junction you'll have a lovely bit of quilting coming together here, and when the whole thing is finished it will kind of frame each one of these blocks. That was my thinking. Now I'm quilting it with Aurifil 12 weight, which is my absolute favourite go-to for quilting. I like the 12 weight very much. It's good and strong, and it comes in a fantastic range of colours. So in here I've got all of my favourite colours that I'm going to be using. And so because I use this so much and like it so much, I've actually partnered with Aurifil, and we've made a thread box that is the Last Homely House thread box with all my favourite colours in it. So I want to tell you a little bit about this now. I'm so pleased with how this has come together. My daughter-in-law Rita has designed the box, which is just beautiful, I think. This is Agnes's quilt, these pieces behind here, and all the information you need is there. And then these are the colours. Now, I've got these colours open because I use them a lot already. I've chosen 9 Aurifil 12s. This one I particularly want to talk about because this one is the one I quilted Agnes's quilt with, and I've got through reels and reels of this stuff, so you've got one of those in there. And then there's another 12 weight that I love here, which is this one, and this is a thread called Marrakesh, and this one is a variegated thread which has got every colour under the sun. And if you were to quilt something like this seed packet quilt, it would suit every single panel on here, it would suit. And you've got a roll of Marrakesh in there as well. Then you've got some greens, why not, and pinks. So you've got some lovely greens and pinks there. And then a very useful red and yellow. But then this last reel here isn't 12 weight. This last reel is 50 weight, which is the quilting thread I use for hand stitching and machine stitching, and it's in that fantastic disappearing grey that I like so much, that just you put it with anything and it just blends into the background. So this is very useful thread for machine stitching or hand piecing. Don't use it for tacking if you were making English paper piecing. Don't use it for your thread basting, it's far too good for that. It's a very good thread for hand stitching. So that's your thread box then. These gorgeous threads that all come in this box here. I couldn't be more pleased. Look, this is the basket I'm using here, and they're all the same colours. They're all here, all the same ones. And I've chosen all the ones that I love for you to use as well. These are in the shop now, so if you want to pop along and have a look at them. So what I've got here is a little bit of beeswax. And sometimes I run my thread along the beeswax. The Aurifil doesn't really need it, but sometimes I like to do it. It stops the thread from tangling. Which one shall we use next? This blue one. It prevents tangling in your threads, and it kind of, can't really describe it really, but it kind of beds the thread into the fibre, into the fabric more. You try it and see what you think. I don't often do it, but if you find that you're getting a lot of knots and tangles in your thread, then it might be worth, using a little bit of beeswax like that. Okay, so see, knot and tangle comes out straight away when it's beeswaxed. So I'm just going to sit here now and do the next part of my stitching. I've got my line marked here now. I've got red chalk in. It also comes with a little pencil sharpener. I was quite impressed with this because sometimes it's good to get a really, really fine line. Of course, I don't know where my pencil sharpener is, but it's somewhere around. Okay, where's my thread gone? There it is. So I'm just going to stitch away and have a chat with you guys. I love hand quilting. It's so very restful and relaxing. And also, I look across the table and this quilt is huge and it's going down the side of the table as well. And so I look at it and I think this is an absolutely mammoth task. It's going to take me a long time, but I don't mind. I don't mind that. In fact, I quite enjoy how epic the task is, and when I've finished it, I feel a real sense of achievement. Now, I've almost finished Agnes's quilt. I've just got the last bit of binding to put on, and then that will be a 3.5 year project that's finished. And like I say, this blue that I'm using at the moment, I did the whole quilt with this one colour blue. It looks really great, I think. These fabrics are absolutely joyful. It's a really, really windy day here today, really windy. I can hear the wind whistling round the chimney tops. And we got some amber warning about how windy it was going to be. But the sun's shining and the garden is just starting to wake up. The snowdrops and the cyclamen and the hazel catkins are all blowing in the wind out there. And it's looking really amazing. So I'm really pleased with how the garden's coming along. I have some help in the garden once a week from a gardening team that come and help me on a Tuesday. And I talk a lot more about the garden over on my Patreon channel, and especially in my monthly diary, which is where I do a roundup of all the things that I've been doing, and that's going to be going out very soon. And so it comes out on the last Wednesday of every month. This month I'm talking about the project where I'm planting, with a lot of help from my son John as well, a lot of trees in the front woods. 150 trees, all beautiful native species, oaks and birch and what else have we got? Alder, aspen, some beautiful trees. All this big. They're not trees, they're all about this big. And they'll not mature until I'm well and truly gone. But the next generation will really enjoy a new little woodland out in the front there. It's a shame I won't see them come to fruition, but someone else will. It's a leap of faith planting trees, isn't it? Now, as I come to each pin, I'm taking them out and slinging them in here. And I'm not too worried. Sometimes you hear that when you're quilting straight lines like I am, that you should turn your quilt the opposite direction every time to prevent bowing. I'm not quilting close enough together for that to be a thing. If you quilt, especially machine quilting, if you're sewing fabric together, you should alternate directions so that you don't get that bowing going on. But I'm not worried about that here. The stitches are large and they're fairly far apart, so that's okay. And how I'm doing it is I'm just quilting while the bit that's in front of me on the table, and then leaving the thread and then starting again, so I don't have to keep hauling this thing backwards and forwards. Then I'll move it along, pick up those loose threads and carry on quilting in the same direction. So I mentioned Patreon and I mentioned the shop. And whenever I mention anything like that, or any music that's in this video, we always put that in the description below this video. There's a little down arrow that you can press there and at the bottom of the video and find out more, or it sometimes says show more, and you can see more about what I'm talking about here. And I list all those things that you might be interested in seeing. Okay, so one thing I will have to do though is move you towards me, because you're on a, if you could see yourself, you're on a little stool. I'm going to just push you back a bit. There you go. You're very portable. Okay, well that's a bit long. It's not quite so long. I don't like to have the thread too long. Now, where's my next row? Let's get my wee pen. It's here. I've got red in it at the moment. It seems to be working fine. And I'm just going to do my chalk mark. It's very good chalk that just rubs itself out as you're working it. You could get that lovely tailor's chalk. You remember those triangles of tailor's chalk that we all had at school? They're still great. You can get those in different colours too. Okay, so there we go. going to put the kettle on and find a nice audiobook and carry on stitching away all day. You know what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day. If you're interested in the slow stitching, we've called it slow stitching at the Last Homely House, and if you're interested in this box, it's over in the shop now, and the link will be in the description below. And also coming soon will be the newsletter from the Last Homely House. We just send out one newsletter a month, and you can sign up for that on the website. You just get invited to sign up for that when you go over there. And we just tell you about new products like this one, but also about the charity donation, the money that I give each month to a different charity with the ad revenue that I get here on the YouTube channel. It's really nice to share that out a little bit. And so that you'll hear about that in the newsletter as well. Thank you for joining me here at the Last Homely House. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe to make sure that you don't miss when I post a new video, and give this video a thumbs up, because what that does, it tells YouTube that you're enjoying it and that other people might enjoy it too, and it really helps me, so thank you. So I will see you again soon